On the 8th day of Christmas I gave to myself. Continuation of the story. So we're gonna skip like all the formalities. We're just gonna keep going. So if you haven't watched the first part, I'll put like an annotation there, and you can watch that part. So let's keep going. Shit. Oh. So Della's now beautiful hair fell about her, rippling and shining like a cascade of brown waters. It reached below her knee and made itself almost a garment for her. And then she did it up again nervously and quickly. Once she faltered for a minute and stood still while a tear or two splashed on the worn red carpet. On went her old brown jacket. On went her old brown hat. With a whirl of skirts and brilliant sparkles still in her eyes, she cluttered out of the door and down the stairs to the street, where the sign read, Mimi Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. One ate up Della ran. She collected herself, panting. Not painting. Like she was collecting herself. Well, I don't need to paint, but I'd collect myself. Madame Large, too white, chilly, hardly looked the Sofroni. Will you buy my hair? Asked Della. I buy hair, said Madame. Take your hat off and let's have sight of the looks of it. Down rippled the brown cascade. $20, said Madame, lifting the mouse with a practiced hand. Give it to me quick. Oh, and the next 2 hours tripped on by rosy wings. Forget the hashed metaphor. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. She found it at last. It surely had been made for Jim and no one else. There was no other like in any of the stories, and she had turned all of them inside out. It was platinum and fob chain simple and chastity design, proudly proclaiming its value by substance alone and not by meretricious ornamentation. As all good things should do, it was even worthy of the watch. As soon as she saw it, she knew that it would be Jim's. It was like him. Quietness and value. The description applied to both. $21 they took from her for it. And she hurried home with 78 cents. With that chain on his watch, Jim might properly anxious about the time in any company. Grand as the watch was, he sometimes looked at it on the sly account of the old leather strap that used to be in place of the chain. When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way to little to prudence and reason. She got out her curling irons and lighted the gas and went to work repairing the ravages made by generosity added to love, which is always a tremendous task, dear friends. A mammoth task. Mammoth tusk? No. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered by tiny, close-line curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection mirror long, carefully, and critically. If Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, before he takes a second look at me, he'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? Oh, what could I do with $1.87? At 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the back of the stove, hot and ready to cook the chops. Jim was never late. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand. She sat in the corner of the table, near the door that he always entered. Then she heard her step on the stairway, down on the first flight, and she turned white just for a moment. She had a habit of saying little silent prayers about the simplest everyday things, and now she whispered, please God, make him think I'm still pretty. The door opened and Jim stepped and closed it. He looked thin and very serious. Poor fellow. He was only 22 and be burned with the family. He needed a new overcoat and he was without gloves. Jim stepped inside the door, as immovable as a setter as the scent of a quail. His eyes were fixed upon Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read, and it terrified her. It was not anger, nor surprise, nor disapproval, nor horror, nor any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. He simply stared at her fixedly with the peculiar expression upon his face. Della wriggled off the table and went for it. "Jim, darling," she cried, "don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. I'll grow it out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Say, Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. You don't know what a nice, a beautiful gift I have for you." "Cut off your hair?" Jim asked laboriously, as if he had not arrived patient face yet. Even after the hardest mental labor. "Cut it off and sold it," said Della. "Don't you like me as well, anyhow? I'm me without my hair, aren't I?" It says a word I don't like, so I'm not going to say that. Jim looked about the room curiously. "You say your hair is gone?" he said with an air of almost idiocy. You needn't look for it. It's sold, I tell you. Sold and gone, too. It's Christmas Eve, boy. Be good to me, for it went for you. Maybe the hairs on my head were numbered," she went with a son's serious sweetness. "But nobody can ever count my love for you. Should I put the chops on, Jim?" Out of his trance, Jim seemed quickly to wait. He enfolded his Della. For 10 seconds, let's regard the discreet scrutiny, some inconsequential object in the other direction. $8 a week or $1 million a year. What's the difference? A mathematician or a witch would give you the wrong answer. The Magi brought valuable gifts, but were not among them. His dark assertion will be illuminated later on. Jim drew a package from his overcoat pocket. Jim drew a package from his overcoat pocket. Damn it, where is it? And he threw it upon the table. We've been going for a good amount of time, so thank you for watching part 2 of the story. Hopefully the next part will be the conclusion. So, see you tomorrow.